Hi, I'm Greg Secord from OpenText in the NERI virtual chapter, and welcome to TalkingIR. My guest today, Daryl Heaps, Q4. Daryl's here to talk about social media. Welcome to the show, Daryl.
Hi, Greg. Thanks very much for having me.
So let's start with some of the strategic end of things. Social media, everyone's talking about it. IROs now are starting to implement this into their programs. What's driving it? Why are people making the decision now to move in, and what trends are you seeing on that?
Sure. I think the biggest driver is the adoption of these tools by investors. So, IROs, you're dealing with your customers being the investors, and where the channels that they go and how they want to be communicated with, that's where IR has to go as well. Looking back, you look at the fax machine and email and websites and all of that. You really have to deliver information and communicate with your customers in the way that they want to be communicated with, whether it's a consumer or an investor or what have you. And I think that's the biggest driver. And the adoption rates by investors for these tools are just continuing to go right off the charts, and I think that's the biggest driver for IR.
Does this emphasize timeliness of response in areas like that even more so than it ever has in an IRO's job? Does it make?
I think there certainly is an expectation of immediate response on the consumer side. I go to Starbucks and this coffee sucks, so Starbucks wants to get back to me immediately to help me from a customer service point of view. But in IR, we don't see a huge amount of engagement in terms of dialogue happening through these channels yet. But even the ones where there are, IROs are able to set things like specific Q&A times. This is when we're going to answer questions. So there is ways to manage it, so it isn't like if you see someone has tried to reach out to you via Twitter at 3 a.m. in the morning, you have to give them an answer right away. IR side of it is really evolving in a different way that is more managed.
So it's more of a push of information, another media channel to do that, and then the ability to become branded as an expert in your subject matter or in your field in your company. If I take that away,
yeah.
How would you characterize that as integrating with those that would be in the media departments of various companies? How are IROs and the head of public relations or media relations connecting on a strategy for social media?
I think the best companies out there certainly have an integrated program, because what they recognize, and I think everyone recognizes this, that on the web, you don't care what department is publishing information, where that's coming out. All you see is one company and information coming out. So it's really important to be integrated internally as well. And efficiencies can come through that. So we know some companies where PR handles a lot of the financial communications. So IR, although involved and understanding what's going on, aren't the one actually executing. So I think on the flip side of that too, not being integrated has a great deal of risks in terms of having a disjointed message out in the market, or many of the problems that can come from that. So integration is absolutely key.
Right, I would think that accuracy in itself being so important, you would want a tight integration of groups for that. Thank you for your insight, and thank you for your opinions today. Daryl Heaps, Q4, joining us here on TalkingIR, brought to you by the NERI virtual chapter. Have a great day.
Thanks very much, Greg. Take care.